Steve, we're ready to roll here. Hello and welcome on into this Monday's edition of Movie News here at MBE. We'd just like to thank you once again for joining us here on our YouTube channel and of course our Twitch stream. I'm one of your co-hosts, Stephen John McLaughlin. Our other co-host is very hyper tonight and
yes,
on the beer.
Drink. Yes.
It's John C. Walsh. How you doing, John?
I'm doing fantastic, Stephen. I'm drinking Hartog Jan.
Yeah, it looks very chilled.
Dutch beer.
What temperature are we at?
It's not chilled enough. 4 degrees.
That's not too bad. It's a little
It's
cool in the room,
cold.
I suppose. But
it's cold.
yeah,
It's good.
I hope you're enjoying it. But I'm on the Vassar.
I'm on the Vassar as well, Stephen. I'll
yeah.
be drinking that afterwards. I have to get my water uptake in.
Yeah, as you probably gather, obviously Wakanda Forever trailer has dropped today. We've already reacted to it. It will be going out at some point. A 2-minute trailer, John, and I'm sure we'll talk about that as we talk about obviously all the news that we could gather from this event, and we're only
all the brand new information. Yes,
yeah, we're only 6 weeks away, 7
I'm
weeks
gonna
away
go back
from
to
the
this
actual
briefly.
film's premiere, which is impressive.
Yep.
And very alarming how fast this year's went in, because I remember thinking when they announced
Isn't
the
it
date for
just?
this, I thought, that's ages away, I can't wait that long, and we're only just over a month away. So
it's alarming how quickly this year's come in.
Yes,
it's alarming how quickly the
crazy.
years
I think, John,
are coming in.
since lockdown, the years are just gone in like that now.
Yeah, it's worrying me.
Yeah, I don't like it myself.
Yeah.
Certainly the
I'm
laughter
blind.
lines are getting a bit more prominent, John, but grey hair.
You see,
Anyway.
I thought I was going to end up like Arsene Wenger.
Yeah.
The way I was going.
So you grew a beard.
But it'd be fair. You can't
Get out of
let-
bed.
The lines aren't really. I look alright.
Yeah.
I'm happy enough.
Yeah. You were
Yeah.
compared to an actor the other day, an Indian actor,
Was I?
John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always getting compared to actors
Yeah.
and football players.
Outlander.
Yeah.
The guy from Outlander as well.
Outlander,
Yeah.
Vikings.
Vikings, yeah.
Wasn't actually a Viking.
James McAvoy.
He was an Anglo-Saxon. I get McAvoy a lot. I don't know
Yeah.
why, 'cause I don't fucking look like James McAvoy. But I suppose that was the last time I get compared to him. Oh, it's not that long ago, but more frequent about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
When I was in my mid-20s. And James was older.
Yeah.
Not really a compliment.
Halcyon days indeed. But anyway,
Yes, they were.
we're talking about Wakanda Forever, folks, and we're going to take a couple of 2 or 3 articles coming in from Screen Rant that's covering different angles, different areas of the film. And the first one we're going to talk about, John, is obviously the new Wakanda Forever trailer makes Shuri as the new Black Panther more likely. We obviously surmise this in their trailer reaction, which you will see shortly. But in the meantime, the latest trailer for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, all but confirms one of the most popular fan theories for the identity of the new Black Panther. Shuri, the trailer's final shot features the new Black Panther in a striking gold and black suit reminiscent of Killmonger's costume from the first movie. I noticed that as well.
Yes.
Yet it's much more feminine in physique, which seemingly confirms Shuri is the next Black Panther. The shot is accompanied by a line from Angela Bassett's Queen Ramonda, "Show them who we are." This dialogue can be taken in context of the Wakanda-centric story of the sequel, meaning to show the world that the nation stands for. However, it can apply to Shuri, pushing her to show the world the continuation of the Black Panther through T'Challa's, Ramonda's and T'Chaka's bloodline.
Yep.
Additionally, the new poster for Black Panther Wakanda Forever shows Shuri front and centre. I noticed that when I was watching John compare a couple of weeks ago, or last week, with the new Black Panther suit from the trailer looming behind her, again hinting at her taking over the mantle. The suit features white adornments around the eyes and the forehead, identical to the one on Shuri's face on her original character poster for Black
It's all
Panther.
lining up, isn't it?
It all makes sense, doesn't it?
It does, yes.
John, I think it all but does confirm it, apart from Feige or someone from Marvel coming out and confirming it. But how do you feel about this? I know we've kind of covered it in our trailer reaction anyway, John, but the actual trailer itself was very emotional again, I felt, in a different way than the first teaser trailer did, because they obviously did the No Women No Cry music over the top of that, and it was more melancholy. I don't know if that's the right word or not.
Melancholic, yes.
And I think this one is more about looking ahead, but remembering, if you know what I mean. Where I felt the first teaser trailer was more of a remembrance for obviously Chadwick Boseman.
It was a tribute, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we did get bits of it obviously in this trailer as well. Obviously at the very start, the first 10 seconds, we get the original mask held in the hands. I think it was Angela Bassett's character. It was holding.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Yeah.
But what's your thoughts, John? What do you like the trailer? Do you think
Yeah.
it's really building the sort of what's this
Anticipation.
That's the juices.
Anticipatory juices
Yes,
are
that's the
building.
one.
They're
Yes,
beginning to
yes,
flow. Yes, the anticipatory juices are flowing. Yes, Stephen, I enjoyed the trailer. I really liked the sort of more cinematic scoring in this trailer. As you did mention, the initial teaser, a celebration of Chadwick as much as a celebration of Wakanda Forever as a movie. But obviously the score hadn't been laid down by that point. I'm not entirely sure who's doing the score for this movie. I'd actually have to search that up, and I will indeed search that up. But obviously it was more soundtrack. Bob Marley, No Woman No Cry, I think it was something else, another song blended. It may have actually just have blended into a more modernised version of that song.
Yeah.
But that's a different vibe. It's obviously just a teaser.
Yeah.
It's slightly disconnected from the actual main movie. Now we're closer to the actual movie coming out. We've got the soundtrack, the score laid down. It's more cinematic, Stephen. It felt like the movie.
Yeah.
It felt more polished. It felt complete. Obviously, the actual trailer itself, we mentioned it in our reaction. It didn't give a huge amount away. I'm pretty sure it's Namor,
Yeah.
the main villain, played by Tenoch Huerta. We got a lot of him. We got a lot of dissenting voices. Obviously, what was it? The Protector is gone. Now is the time to strike, or something like that.
Yeah.
Really looking into the other side of things, the other side of the equation. The first teaser was Wakanda heavy, celebrating the life, the legacy of this man, celebrating the world, the culture. We get that in this as well. But I liked the fact we deviated more to the... I mean, we've seen a lot of this guy, this mutant figure Namor. He's almost fucking hopping on clouds. He's jumping around in the air. Looks very, very cool.
Yeah.
And we did Stephen Ironheart. I think that's the name of the character.
Yeah.
We've seen a brief look at a sort of Iron Man War Machine kind of suit.
Yeah. It's
Ironheart.
Stark Industries, isn't
Yeah,
it?
Dominic Fawn playing Ironheart. So that character's introduced.
I do notice they've mentioned Chadwick Boseman in the cast on the, obviously just a
I
Google
don't know if
search.
they've
But
mentioned Michael B. Jordan
I'm just
as well.
wondering if there maybe is some archival footage for Chadwick, maybe a kind of ghostly figure or something. I don't know if that's maybe too tacky or not, but just to sort of pay tribute to him, maybe just walking off happy or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've got the ancestral plane, haven't you? One of the coolest moments in the first Black Panther was that incredible plane, sort of purple, sort of hyacinth hues. I love that colour, incidentally, being a huge Spike Lee fan. I know that man loves purple. No one rocks purple better than him.
Yeah.
A good New Yorker. Proper cool fucking guy. He's in his 60s and he just looks so cool. Looks youthful. So I love that colour, and I really connected with that concept of just ancestral lines. You lose someone, but you've always got that direct link to it in this incredible world of Wakanda, a country of Wakanda, region of Wakanda, whatever the adjective you want to use. But yeah, obviously the main point in this trailer is the actual Letitia Wright, presumably Letitia Wright, incarnation of Black Panther, jumping down and landing. Got the heroic pose, absolutely nailed. Very much whipping Natasha Romanoff's backside all over the place in that regard.
Johnny,
and you get the little flash of purple up the leg, you get all the little details on the suit. It feels like it's combining Eric Killmonger's suit.
I mean, there's
T'Challa's.
an actual picture there, John, of the mask itself.
It's so fucking cool.
Obviously with the dots on it, which was describing that.
It's a sort of painting.
Yeah, the
paint
article we just read out. But one of the things you mentioned in the trailer reaction as well, which had me thinking, in terms of the thing they did with Bond and having the female.
Yeah, Lysandra Lynch, I searched that up.
Obviously it didn't go the direction a lot of people were.
Yeah, because it created a lot of issue, a lot of controversy, Steve.
But I think this is different, John. It's Letitia Wright. She's already an established character from the previous film. I can't see her not going the distance in this film, if you know what I mean. I think if
see her getting killed.
I don't, John.
I can't see her getting killed.
I'm totally agree. I thought you said you can see her getting killed.
No, I can't.
I think this is an investment from Marvel Studios, John, to have someone as...
They're pushing her as the next Tony Stark, Steve.
Yeah. As
the sort of character who would fill in for Tony. And I mentioned it in the trailer reaction, if we get the brains and the brawn of that character combining, she's already this genius...
You've got a...
sort of figure.
You've got an Avengers shoe in right away.
Yeah, it's like a
Someone that-
cerebral character.
Yep.
If you can combine that with the brawn of the more brawny side, I'm not saying T'Challa was an idiot, but
No,
he was
but,
obviously more physical.
yeah.
He had more physical prowess
There's something
than
about
her.
Shuri I really like though. It's there's a kind of cockiness about
There's
her.
a choppiness to the
you know,
character.
and in an inoffensive way towards obviously Bruce Banner's technology, his sort of capabilities and his limitations, obviously with Vision, and that sort of dialogue they had
That
together
always
was
wound me up though, Stephen. They never ever went back to that.
no.
Her working on Vision's mind and trying to disconnect circuits and stuff like that and save his sort of sentence. They never went back to that.
No, well they couldn't, could they? Because it was Vision left, didn't they?
Yeah, but he obviously dies.
Yeah.
But it never did she complete it? It never was it ever explained.
Yeah, never,
Obviously, it's never going to now because it's another Vision.
But it's just something endearing about the character that I like, and I don't think we've seen too much of her. We've not seen enough of her yet. You know, I think this is probably a great opportunity to sort of propel her, the actress, and obviously the character. More to the forefront, because I think that's something that Phase 4 has been struggling with, is obviously established, well-rounded characters that, you know, we already know.
Youthful characters.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of the big hitters are now getting on.
Yep.
Chris Hemsworth, sadly, is in his 40s now.
Yep.
Even if you were to bring back Steve Rogers, and you shouldn't, he's in his 40s.
Yep.
Tony Mackie's late 30s, 40s.
Yep.
Benedict Cumberbatch is in his late 40s.
Yeah.
They're all getting on. They're all getting older.
Yep.
We need, if you're continuing or you have plans to continue this universe moving forward, you're going to have to establish younger versions. Florence Pugh's come in. She's a younger version of Natasha Romanoff.
We've already got Tom Holland.
Tom Holland's youthful and young. You need a more youthful interpretation. If you're wanting the longevity, 10 years, 15, I don't know if we're going to go that long, but she certainly has the age on her side. So she has been confirmed as the next Black Panther, and I think she has. All the signs are there. The markings on the suit, the sort of combination, the bloodline she is a direct. She's got a link to T'Challa. It's his fucking sister.
It makes sense, doesn't it?
It makes sense. A lot of people saying in Baku, he's the North, sort of the sort of mountain king of Wakanda. He's not got any direct connection. Obviously, he lost the ceremonial fight to rule early doors in Black Panther. It would feel weird. It wouldn't work to bring that character in and he supplants T'Challa as a king. Bringing the sister in, she's obviously gifted brilliantly with the brains. She's going to have to put on some fucking muscle. She's going to, and we spoke about that in the reaction, Stephen. She's youthful enough. She can put a lot of muscle on.
She's very lean though, isn't she?
Very lean. I see no reason why she can't become like a female version of Tom Holland.
Yeah.
She's still in her early 20s, mid-20s. She's got all the athleticism, all of these sort of genetic, I don't know what you'd call it, genetic.
Yeah. But more importantly, John, she's an established character as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going back
potential
nearly 5 years since her introduction. Was it as long as that? Maybe 4 years?
Yeah.
You know, and I think they've got to utilise that. They've got to take advantage of that situation, and you're absolutely right.
And she's likeable, Stephen, as you did touch upon. The MCU fandom connected with the character. So there will be haters out there that don't want a female Black Panther. They will not want Letitia Wright.
Yeah.
For all of the same reasons we see again and again and again, the sort of same channels on YouTube, the women haters will be out in force. This is a disgrace. We're replacing this character with a female.
Tough titty.
Well, I say bollocks to that because you've not really got a huge amount of male characters there to pick from. I don't think Daniel Kaluuya's coming back for this movie. In Baku, I've just spoke about, I like Winston Duke. I think he's a brilliant actor. It wouldn't fit.
No.
The only other fit would be Eric Killmonger being revived. There is a president. Bringing Michael B. Jordan back. That is my preference
I think at some point he will come back, John. I think, and I mentioned this in the trailer reaction, was that it might be too soon, because if you're watching these films in sequence, Black Panther, then Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, it might be too soon.
Yeah.
You know, to have him come back and sort of flip-flop his character right away.
And it would negate the ending, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, I think so. And you mentioned it as well, John, that obviously Michael B. Jordan's a busy guy just now. He's got his directing, he's got his fingers in so many pies at the moment,
producing, maintaining his incredible fucking physique.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about Ryan Coogler as well, John, in a moment, but obviously when that sad news broke about Chadwick Boseman 2 years ago,
Stephen, I still can't believe it.
you know, aside obviously from being quite upset, or very upset actually, we couldn't believe it.
Stephen, I'm not going to lie.
Absolutely shook me.
I was watching interviews with the man at the time. I remember vividly a press conference he did in the build up to Black Panther, and he spoke about a young kid who had terminal cancer.
Yeah.
Who'd made contact with him, and obviously he broke down in the middle of the actual press conference.
Yeah.
He knew at that point he probably had terminal cancer, and he was keeping it secret. Obviously, maybe to protect his privacy, maybe to protect the.
Yeah.
So I don't know, the worry in the fandom. They didn't want them over worrying. He wanted to work to his
I think
his
it
last
was maybe
days.
about a month before his sad passing, we had watched The Five Bloods.
Yeah.
And although
I hadn't seen the Instagram post he did, even up until like a week before he was doing charity work.
Yeah.
Just a brilliant gesture. I was crying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was
I was crying.
really upsetting, John. And
I don't cry for fucking celebrities dying usually.
And I think it's important that you say that, John, because obviously the next thing I'm going to say, we don't want to obviously just brush by obviously that sad passing, but the next thing you naturally think of as a fan of him, a fan of the character he portrayed, and a fan of that franchise is, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? How are they going to tackle this?
Yeah.
Because I think you and I were both in agreement, I don't want to see this recast.
No.
You know, and
No.
and it's one of those things where he's front and centre for this side of the franchise, you know, that he is Black Panther, but also it was established in the first movie that it's not just a one person title, you know. It is passed through bloodline, and I think just Ryan Coogler and obviously the background people, you know, have put this film together, have done a marvellous job. And doing it in an organic way that's not going to be jarring. They will pay.
I trust Coogler.
They will pay tribute, obviously, to Chadwick Boseman as well. He will be remembered, and I think there will be some emotional moments in this movie that we might see. Maybe there's some archival footage there.
Steve, I would like to see some archival footage. It would feel really jarring if he was just to be written into the opening.
Something
montage
spiritual. I would really like, you know, something just
a shot of him standing.
Yeah.
On the ancestral plane, maybe with Shuri.
Yeah, something like that would be.
And you almost get the sort of the blessing.
Do you know, even thinking about that's giving me goosebumps. You know, that's how affected.
It'd be brilliant, Stephen.
And how much we love this guy.
Infinity War, man. I keep going back to Infinity War when he says now's not time to be. I can't remember the words he says. It was with Bucky, and he dusted away. I was actually shook in the theatre watching that, because he'd just been introduced not long before. We'd just been introduced to Wakanda. You didn't expect him to disappear. Obviously we knew they were going to come back, but what a moment in the theatres to see all these brilliant characters.
Yeah.
And obviously at that point you think the same thing. Fuck, if they don't come back, what are we doing here? He made such an impact.
I think
right
away.
Well,
you know, Ryan Coogler must have been like that at one point as well. You know, obviously the death.
Do you want to get into that, Steve, just now? This next topic.
We'll move on to it, because
Letitia, I mean, I'm glad if Letitia Wright is the next Black Panther. I would love to see her take on it. It's the natural fit in terms of storyline. She's still young. She's still got that energy. She's got the enthusiasm. She's got the blessing from most of the fandom. Really likeable character, likeable actress. Also, there's been some controversy over whole vaccine shit. That's in the past now. We've moved on from that, and it's her body. She's entitled to do what she wants. But in the main, I think she would fucking great. And I like the little details in the suit. So I'm looking forward to seeing her.
You don't think it's a misdirection in any case?
It could be, Steve,
because it's very obvious. I mean, they've made it as clear as possible. Everything we've been talking about, and the markings on the mask, obviously the shape, the physicality.
She could be.
Don't do that, man.
She could become the next Black Panther, bite off more than she can chew, actually get killed by Namor, or if that's how you say his name, Namor, Neymar. She could. Fuck. I'm not a fan of Neymar. A brilliant player, but a bit of a prick.
Yeah, he falls over a lot.
He does, especially against us. Funnily enough, has a hatred for my football club for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why. Pantomime stuff.
Yeah.
But maybe she does get killed, and then we bring in another version, and maybe it's Michael B. Jordan. But I wouldn't like that. I want to see Michael B. Jordan coming back and playing Black Panther because of all the links to Chadwick Boseman. off the screen, great friends with the guy, really close relationship, almost
I mean,
brotherly. And his links with Ryan Coogler.
Yeah, I think, John, one of the reasons
I
I
wouldn't want
brought
to
it
see her
up.
dying.
One of the reasons I brought it up is obviously because I'm trying to play devil's advocate here and say, why did they make it so obvious? And I think there is another angle you could go from, is that probably Marvel and Kevin Feige are trying to condition people very early on before the film's released. This is what we're doing. Deal with it and accept it and try and enjoy the film, guys.
Exactly.
Because
that,
there's so many people out there that are just so narrow-minded that can't accept that kind of a decision in a film with its main character, and I can't get my head around it.
It's almost like the reverse of No Way Home.
Yeah.
Where if you were just to confirm that those two other Spider-Man characters were in it, it detract from the movie.
It kills it,
and people would, I don't know, it would ruin the movie's anticipation. Whereas with this, some people are so caught up in who's the next Black Panther. If you just explain in the promotion,
it's a unique situation. Obviously, the studio's in because of Chadwick Boseman's passing, John, and
that's a great beer.
And I just think that that really might be one of the reasons that they're making it on the nose. Maybe they're just telling you in so many visuals, this is what we're doing, and you're either on board or you're not. Basically telling them, if you don't like it, don't come and watch the film. Basically, if you do, then let's embrace this,
Steve, I just hope the movie's a success ultimately, because the guy we're about to speak about, he's just a brilliant mind. Fantastic. He's still a young guy. And just his legacy over his career. I've watched, I think, every fucking movie this guy's put out. I want this guy to succeed, but then I also want it to succeed because it was almost it was a zeitgeist movie for the black community all over the world, that first one, and the fact it connected with other cultures and other demographics, that was neither here nor there. It was an important movie, not just because of Chadwick being a trailblazer in this universe. Obviously, he was a trailblazer his whole fucking career, and obviously portraying these important black figures throughout his entire career. He never shied away from it.
Well, that's it, And
but what it did to inspire a whole generation of black potential actors, directors coming up, that was a needed movie.
Yeah.
So I'm just hoping this is a success as a sequel.
I think that's what we're going to talk about as well, John, in terms of Chadwick Boseman's legacy and his sort of mark he's left on people. Certainly with Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan was inconsolable for months when he first passed. It was so upset about it.
Me come away from social media and
stuff
like that.
And Ryan Coogler's not any different, and that's what we'll talk about, John. Black Panther director almost retired after Chadwick Boseman died, and this is coming in from Screen Rant once more.
That was a great shot in the trailer. We got that in the teaser. We get it in the trailer as well.
It's fantastic. But during a recent interview with EW, Coogler reflects on the loss of Boseman and looks ahead towards the release of Black Panther Wakanda Forever. The sequel's writer-director makes the surprising admission that Boseman's death was so impactful for him that he almost quit filmmaking altogether. This is what he had to say. I was at the point when I was like, I'm walking away from this business. I didn't know if I could make another movie, period, let alone another Black Panther movie, because it hurt a lot. I was like, man, how could I open myself up to feeling like that again? I was poring over a lot of our conversations that we had towards what I realised was the end of his life. I decided that it made more sense to keep going. So I understand that, John, but it sort of triggers me back to months prior to the actor's passing. Was they had so much to look forward to. Chadwick Boseman, before obviously being diagnosed, getting the role must have been one of the highlights of his career and his life, and looking forward, and all that's taken away from him.
He was only 42 when he died. So he was still a very youthful actor.
And I can imagine these conversations him and Coogler would have had, looking forward into the next film, the film after that, what we're going to do, and all this excitement. And
the fact he didn't even tell Ryan, or even I think the top brass at Disney, that what he was going through, it's the measure of the man. He didn't want people to worry. He didn't want people to stop him or try and get in his way of making as many movies as possible. Obviously he was thinking about his family, his legacy as an actor, but just securing his family financially, so he wanted to work as much as possible. And Stephen, to be fair, I'm actually forgetting the name of the last movie he starred in. I loved the movie. I'm going to search it up briefly. The sort of jazz movie. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. That was one of his last performances. So despite everything he was going through, you never ever, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, I really enjoyed that movie. I thought he was brilliant in that. The speech at the end when he obviously kills the older guy, that was just it was fucking goosebumps. Incredible acting. So you never realised. So if he didn't impart that on even close confidants like Ryan Coogler, it must have been a real surprise and shock. If we were shocked as fans, what is his colleagues and people who actually were in his sphere?
Yeah.
How bad did it impact on them? I can totally get why he was nearly stepping away from.
I can imagine though, John, when he did say I decided that it makes more sense to keep going. There would have been conversations, I'm sure, with Chadwick, and his thoughts on the character, what he wanted to do with the character, and obviously that franchise and take it forward. And that would have stuck in his mind, I think, and I think that's what's probably kept him going. I think that's what's made him decide to keep going as well, is to honour that, honour those sort of conversations that they had, that look into the future. And I think he's made the right decision. It'd be a terrible loss for film for him to just retire, and just disappear.
Stephen, he's
from
one of the most prominent black filmmakers in the game just now, and he's been making really brilliant movies for well over a decade. So I know it was hard and it was heart-wrenching in the moment, but ultimately I don't think Chadwick would have wanted him to step away from directing. It's already a massive loss losing him. If you were to then start to lose prominent black directors, actors who were around because they've been that touched by his passing, no, it's not the way to go. The best way to go is to be inspired by the man's sort of drive, his career, what he accomplished in his sadly shortened life, and go off and the best way to channel that is to make brilliant movies. And I can't think of a better director. No one else can continue this Black Panther story, Stephen. This is Ryan Coogler's baby. It's like James Gunn with Guardians of the Galaxy. No one else can come in and make these movies. It would feel jarring, it would be disconnected. It ain't like Creed, where you bring in a Steve Capel Jr. Or even a Michael B. Jordan for the third movie. This isn't that kind of movie. This guy, his fingerprints are all over this story, over this character. So it would have felt
characters
wrong.
Well, John, if we're going back to Shuri, he gets the characters, he understands their capabilities and their potential as well, as actors. And I'm sure he's had these conversations with the heads at Marvel and Kevin Feige, pushing these young actors, that this is the future of this studio. You mentioned it, John, the sort of old heads that they're not old, but obviously by standards they'll want to.
I mean, Letitia's 28. I didn't realise she was that old.
John, it's still
she's
young.
Still young. She's young, but I thought she was early 20s.
I can't imagine Chris Hemsworth, Paul Rudd.
Hell, she looks good for
Paul
28.
Rudd's.
Paul Rudd's in his 50s
now. He's just turned 51, I think 52.
They'll not want she's in her 40s as well.
They'll not want to overcommit themselves. They'll still have things they want to do in their career out with comic book films. Whereas the sort of young heads in the likes of Letitia, Tom Holland, they've got a great future in this, and they've still got years ahead of them
to do
other things. You're talking maybe Tom 2 decades worth. Well, Tom does that. Yeah,
he does. He often does.
Tom as if I know him. Letitia as if I know her, but
that's their names though.
I can imagine those conversations that Ryan Coogler would have had with the studio. That this is what I want to do with this character. This is the actress I want to play this character. Great potential, and I think it's a great investment as well for MCU.
Yes, Dean, I just hope the character doesn't die in the movie. As I say, my personal preference was and remains Michael B. Jordan becoming the next Black Panther, just for a whole variety of reasons. There is precedent in the obviously comic book stories. I think there's precedent for Shuri being Black Panther as well. But I know they revived Eric Killmonger.
You look at the big picture though, John, when you've got...
But I wouldn't want him to come in at the expense of Letitia Wright's character dying off. I don't want Shuri to die in this movie.
A terrible trilogy, or if they're going to do a trilogy, that is, to have T'Challa die in the first one, obviously Shuri die in the second one. You know what I mean?
It's almost like fucking Saving Private Ryan. They lose every member of the family. T'Chaka dies, then his son dies, T'Challa, then the daughter dies. Shuri. All you've got left is a fucking mother. It's like four. He loses his whole family. I mean, obviously it's unfortunate what happened with Chadwick. The hand was forced. I'm sure they wouldn't have wrote the story like that. But we can't be killing Shuri off. So if we're picking Shuri as Black Panther, it has to be that moving forward for at least 2-3 movies. We can't be killing this character off
And
midway through the movie.
You know, this is it, John, and I think they've done the right thing. They've made the right decision not recasting.
Yeah,
certainly they've done the right thing.
Not recast.
Not fucking rotoscope.
I know.
Chadwick Boseman, and we've seen the disaster that was, the dead.
I still feel for Kelly Marie Tran.
Yeah, I mean,
being fucking stuck with a dead actor.
Yeah.
Who's not in the movie, who's not with her. Regardless of your thoughts of Rose, I think it was Rose Tico.
Yeah.
The character, you cannot put a living, breathing actor in a room with green screen acting to a dead actor who films shots from a previous movie that have nothing to fucking do with the story you're creating in the third movie in a trilogy. Never do that again. That should be the warning shot across the bows of anybody, the brows, whatever the fuck the terminology is, of any filmmaker, any studio. Never, ever, ever do that again. And it would sully Chadwick's legacy. This guy was such a vibrant, brilliant actor. He brought that character alive. The performance was there. You felt it watching the movie. You don't rotoscope him in and force him in. Don't get me wrong, Steen. I like what you said. I'd like to see the character come in some vein. Just a nod, just standing there in the ancestral plane, maybe sharing a moment with his on-screen sister.
Some people need that sort of visual nod, John, to accept it as well. Unfortunately, they need that. They need it drawn to them, you know, and I think that would kind of work in a way. It's the handing over the baton, if you like, you know. But I just can't wait to see the film. I can't wait to see what they're going to do. We're getting hints of it, obviously, in the trailer. They didn't reveal too much of the storyline. As you said, it was more focused on the villain more than anything.
The villain does look good as well, to be fair. He does. He's a mutant. One of the first, if not the first mutants in the MCU.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very interesting.
I read an article about the mutants as well, John, just touching on that, where it could be phase 5 or 6 before we see the X-Men. So there you are.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. No rush.
Thanks to Hugh coming back. He set them all back.
I'm just trying to find, Stephen, the actual composer for this movie.
Yeah.
Am I right in saying it was Ludwig Göransson who did the first one?
Yeah.
Ludwig Göransson doing this one. I love Ludwig. I simply love this guy's scores. I just think he's a fucking maestro.
He's young as well.
He is very young, isn't he? Yeah, he's like fucking what? 37?
Yeah. Just turned 38,
Yeah, has he? Really?
Yeah.
He has, yeah, you're right.
Swedish.
He's Swedish, a good Swede.
I thought he was German for some reason, I don't know why.
Yeah, he's just Göransson, you listen to that name, right? Ludwig, to be fair, is fucking like a mad Dutch German name. Göransson, he's obviously good.
John, we've obviously, I mean, he's worked with obviously Ryan Coogler before on Fruitvale Station.
He has, yeah. I mean,
the Creed films as well.
Honestly, what a movie.
You know, just touching on this as well, I know we're going off on a tangent a little bit, but just touching on...
No, the reason I was touching on it, Stephen, is if you incorporate Chadwick... also the T'Challa character into a sort of a poignant moment with Shuri, giving his blessing, doesn't he have to speak? Just an interaction on the ancestral plane. He maybe fades away.
John, this guy,
the score this guy could create in that moment.
Yeah, Ludwig Göransson, for me, I was very impressed with him in the Creed films because he's stepping into a franchise that has already a legendary
composer in Alan Silvestri,
Bill Conti, Rocky, the Rocky franchise, you know, and for him to come in and make his own mark without replicating. Now I know that Michael...
Did the book of Boba Fett?
Michael Giacchino, is it you call him, came in and obviously did Rogue One, but he was sort of restrained in so many levels because it was Star Wars, the 2 weeks
to do it,
as well, but he had to keep within that sort of John Williams vibe, whereas I think Ludwig Göransson coming into those Creed films put his own mark on them, modernised the sort of soundtrack of the Rocky sort of universe, if you like.
And he did it with Star Wars as well, with the Mandalorian, that sort of fucking woodwind. And seeing him composing that, he's a brilliant mind. You've got that continuity, Stephen, that's important. If you lose someone as big, a personality like Chadwick, the best way to keep things sort of together is to have that continuity, that consistency behind the camera. That's why it's important that Ryan kept very much
his team.
Yeah, he kept his team together, but also kept directing these movies, or this movie. And we've seen this before.
I do believe if he did retire, stepped away, John, the whole thing would have fell apart.
We wouldn't have had another movie.
I don't think Kevin Feige would have risked it with anyone else. That's the sort of standards that Ryan has set.
And ultimately, Stephen, that's why I've got extreme confidence. No matter who is chosen to be the... What am I doing here? having a fucking breakdown, trying to pick the scene. It's right in front of me, dual screen, little button, press it. It's ultimately why I trust, no matter whoever it is it's picked to be the next Black Panther, I trust Ryan to get it right, because he is such a great writer, he is such a great director. I trust the direction he goes with this movie. It's why I'm so excited for this movie as well. It's only a month away. It's next month it comes out.
Yeah, crazy
to
stuff.
see just where he goes with it, how he balances Chadwick's legacy, how he balances this sort of transition to another Black Panther. There's going to be a chasm in there, a gaping hole, because we see it in the trailer.
Quite a ropey time for the MCU in terms of 2021 and 2022 films. This is the big one. This will make things right, as I say.
This is, Stephen, I believe this is a hugely important movie.
Yeah.
If we can nail this, we can transition into another Black Panther. We says it in the reaction. This character's needed moving forward. We've got a dearth of personality. We've not even had the confirmed Tom Holland's coming back as fucking Peter Parker.
Not yet, anyway.
We need Peter Parker in this universe. We need Black Panther. Whoever it may be who's taking the character moving forward in this universe, we need it for the Avengers movies. We need big personalities. We've lost 2, 3. Natasha Romanoff, Tony Stark and Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
We need Tony Mackie to step up as Captain America, and we need this Black Panther to step up. And also we need Peter Parker fucking back. It's hugely important.
Ant-Man,
if they can nail an Ant-Man as well, if they can nail this movie, that'll go a long way to securing the next phase and beyond of this fucking universe. I'm absolutely certain of it. So it's all on you, Ryan, mate. I know you can do it.
Yeah.
I've been watching you for years, mate. I know you can do it. He will do it, and he will do it well. But look, let's go round it up, man. I've not got much more to say. I'm sure you haven't either, Steve.
I'm done.
What's your thoughts on that trailer? Have we had confirmation from that brief, beautiful sort of arrival, I'm going to call it, that drop, the heroic pose? Is that confirmation that Shuri is indeed going to be playing the next Black Panther? What's your thoughts on the trailer? Thoughts on Ryan Coogler nearly stepping away from directing, period, after the death of Chadwick? Do you agree with us? It's so important that he was inspired by the man's legacy to come back and continue making movies. More importantly, making these movies, because he's the only guy who can make the sequel and perhaps a trilogy of Black Panther movies. There's no one else can do it. Share your thoughts down below if you've got anything to say down below in the comments section. The actor name, is that Shuri you're talking about? The actor's name is Letitia Wright, if it is. That's her name. She's a brilliant actor. British, I'm pretty sure. I think she's English.
Sounds like, yeah.
Share your thoughts down below if you've got anything to say down below in the comments section. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon on YouTube to get notifications straight to your eyeballs. Do all the same things if you're over on Twitch, watching us over there as well. Follow, notifications button to see us over there doing live streams. You don't get all of the pre-recorded watch-alongs, reactions, reviews, because Twitch is a live streaming platform. But hit the follow button, notifications button. Regardless, we like the fucking support. Whatever you do though, subscribe, not subscribe, like, dislike, thank you for fucking watching us. And until the next time, me and Stephen are done. Bye bye. This is going to be awkward because I have not got macros working.